Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new Cardfight Vanguard video for you guys today. Today I have one that was highly requested. Today we are messing with the Destined one of Exceedance, Impauldio. I played this deck a lot on my last stream. I actually basically didn't touch Supremacy at all, let's see you fail, because we were so into trying to get this deck to work. I did a lot of playtesting on stream and a lot of playtesting after stream. I tried a few different versions of the build. This one has worked so far, but this is still very subject to change. The biggest downside to this deck I've noticed is that this deck is a Brandgate deck. Believe it or not, that's the biggest downside because Brandgate does not have a lot of generic support. It is an extremely xenophobic nation. A lot of the set orders, a lot of the normal grade 1s and 2s all require certain vanguards or are meant for certain decks. So they don't gel very well with Impauldio, who's kind of freeform, who can play just about anything. And because of that, it was kind of hard to really optimize on the deck. We're gonna run through Impauldio's support real quick. Then I'm gonna show you to talk to you guys about the build I made, and then we're gonna go jump into a game. All right, guys, here's all the support. We're gonna start off with our starter. You guys saw my breakdown of the last episode. I talked about all of these cards. I think there's only one card here that wasn't in the episode because we actually got all of these cards revealed and announced early, but I'd never cover them because I wanted to wait till they came out in the anime. Because the set is just dropped in Japan and they wanted to give us all the cards before the set dropped. But first we got our starter, which is Fall Starter. I actually really like the way this this starter looks. Reminds me of Zero from Mega Man. We've got Eno Progrep. This is a really important card. When this unit is placed by riding from a grade 0, reveal a grade 3 with Impauldio and its card name from your ride deck. You put your system code Exceed token in your order zone. That's what this whole deck revolves around. All right, as for the system token, I can't show it to you guys on here because it's not in the program, but I will put it up on screen for you guys real quick, and I'll tell you guys what it does. So this does not go in the deck. You basically get it from outside of the deck. So you'd have it with like your ride deck and stuff. It doesn't go in the ride deck. Don't get confused. It's kind of like the grade 11 token for Griffogila, where it just kind of plays itself. Same thing with this. The grade 1 gets you it, and what it does is you cannot ride a grade 3 or greater cards without Impauldio in their card name, and you may have auto mod gauges is what this says, but all the other cards, we call them self-modification gauges. So you'll hear me talk about both. When a card is put into your damage zone during your opponent's turn, choose a card from your drop, put it face up into your auto mod gauges. Then if you have 3 or less auto mod gauges and your card other than trigger unit was revealed for this damage check, choose one of your vanguards to get 5,000 power till end of turn. If you have 4 or more auto mod gauges, choose your vanguards and it gets 5,000 power till end of turn. Basically, in the early game, when you have 3 or less gauges, if you don't get a trigger, you gain the 5k. If you do get a trigger, you don't gain the 5k. In the mid to late game, once you have 4 or more gauges, even if you get a trigger, you still get the 5k. And that's basically the defensive mechanic this deck revolves around. Grade 2 of our ride line is Doris Evolia. When this unit is rolled by a grade 3 with Impauldio in its card name, put the top card of your deck into your self-modification gauges, then choose up to one of your self-modification gauges, and you may put it into your hand. This is cool because sometimes you want to get that extra card. Sometimes you really don't, because this deck really goes off at 4 gauges and then an 8. So if you can get to 4, you don't really want to grab the extra card if you can avoid it. And then you also don't want to mess it up when you go for 8. That's the one of Exceedance, Impauldio. Kind of bless one, choose a card from your drop, put it in face up into your self-modification gauge, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, use up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck. And this unit gets all of your front row, gets plus 5,000 power for every 2 of your self-modification gauges until end of turn. Divine skill, act, Vanguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and you have 4 or more self-modification gauges, kind of blast 1, discard a card, and this unit gets plus 2 drive and plus 1 critical. It hits hard. I have issues with this deck. We'll talk about it once I go through the rest of the support. Spacewalker Dragon. At the end of the battle, this unit boosts. If you have 2 or more self-modification gauges, put this unit into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rear guards and retire it. Gather 2. During your turn, if you have 4 or more self-modification gauges, this unit gets 10,000 power. I don't play either of these cards. I think these cards are actually pretty mid. You don't really need the extra 10k power because you're going to be getting so much power because of your Vanguard skill. And retiring a grade 1 or less, it's just there's so many better cards that you could be running. And we'll talk about that once you guys see the build I'm running. Nebula Invoke Dragon. This card's goated. I slept on this card so much, but this card is fantastic. When this unit attacks, so bless 1, this unit gets 5,000 power until end of that battle. If you have 5 or more self-modification gauges, it gets 15,000 power instead of 5,000 power. this is your main beat stick. The cool thing about this is that that plus 5k is not locked to your what kind of Vanguard you have or what grade you're at. So it's really good for soul blasting early to get more cards into the drop for your self-modification gauges. And I'll talk about why that's important when we get through the rest of it. Second skill, continuous Guardian Circle. If you have 4 or more self-modification gauges, this unit gets 15,000 shield. I love that because it's 15,000 shield whether you intercept with it or guard with it from hand. That's a big deal to me. It's a 20k shield. This deck can sometimes be lacking in the defense, but that 20k shield, the fact that it gets it even if you play it from hand, makes this card infinitely better than Gelmelt. You'll hear me mention all the time that I hate Gelmelt for the new all-in support because it only gets its 20k shield when you intercept with it. So in your hand, it's a 5k shield. That's a 10k attacker. Not a good card. This is a 15k to 25k attacker. That's a 20k shield on the field and in your hand. This is an infinitely better card. Airborne Machinery Vinster. I've heard this one have a couple different names, but this is your other main beat stick. During your turn, if you have 2 or more self-modification gauges, this unit gets 5,000 power, and if you have 8 or more self-modification gauges, this unit's drive cannot be decreased from card effects. That matters because of the second skill. When this unit attacks, if you have 4 or more self-modification gauges and no drive checks are performed for the battle your rearguard attack this turn, Counterblast 1, and this until the end of the battle, this unit performs drive checks, but it gets drive -1, and then at the end of the battle, you bind this unit. So, this guy. He swings, you Counterblast 1. If you have at least 4 gauges, he gets a drive check. If you have 8, he gets twin drive. He also has plus 5k. He does bind himself at the end of the battle. So if you combine this skill with your divine skill, you can actually get 6 drive checks in a turn. It's pretty cool, which, yeah, they actually did that in the episode. But let me show you guys the build I came up with. So after some testing, this is the build I came up with. So some issues with the deck going in before we even talk about what I put in the deck. Early game rush is really rough for this deck because if you can't get cards into your drop zone, you can't get your self-modification gauges. The most you can get is 1 a turn because you're only going to discard 1 card for a rat. So it's going to force you to guard early or guard awkwardly. So it can be a little weird trying to get your self-modification gauges early because like you want to take the damage to get the gauges because you want to have usually about 2 or 3 going into turn 3. So it also depends if you went first or second. But you also don't want to, blow through your hand and be able to do stuff as you get farther into the game. And then the other big thing is besides taking damage and your grade 3 skill, there's no other way for you to get self-modification gauges. Well, your ride line skill, but that's it. So, like, you have to take damage to even be able to turn your deck on. Like, it discourages guarding early because you have to take damage to be able to get to grade 3 to do stuff. Like, say you guard your Vanguard, your opponent swings with just their Vanguard, and you want to drop a trigger just to guard it to save yourself on damage. Now, you're going to have 1 less gauge, which means it's going to be that much harder for you to play the game. Because the deck really needs to hit 4. Anyway, onto my build. We have our ride line. Obviously, our 4 Persona rides. We went with draw triggers just because this is a pretty combo-oriented deck. You do want to see your rear guards because it's how you're going to be able to push for your offense. I tried front triggers, and there were times where I really wanted front triggers, but there's also times where you really need to see certain cards. So it's like, I got to mess around with it more. Maybe if I can find a better way to put some more draw power in, I'll switch to fronts because the bigger shield really does matter. But it's just sometimes you need to be able to keep your offense. 4 Bubble Mine, it's a staple in Brant Gate. Counter charge, this deck does counter blast a lot. Just to use Impauldio skill and Divine skill in 1 turn is a counter blast 2, which is a lot. 3 PGs, 1 Elemental Sanctuary is a grade 3 deck. We are playing Baldreed. This card is just really, really good. The only thing that sucks is we can't get the extra 5k power. This deck doesn't play set orders, but the token counts as a set order. So we can still get the top 5 search. We just can't get the extra 5k power. That's one of the reasons I tried the monster order, because that would give us our extra order to be able to have it gain the 5k. That's why that's another version of the deck you can try. Panthai Dragon, act rearguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, discard it, and if your order zone has a set order, this unit gets 5,000 power. Again, our token counts as a set order. It's a Soul Blast, you cycle a card. It's an act, so you can do it every turn. It'll have plus 5k power, so it's good for early game and a little bit extra power in the late game. It also gets you 2 cards into your drop for your self-modification gauge with the Soul Blast, and because you're going to draw a card, then discard a card. So this is also a really, really good early game card. This one and Nebula are your main early game pushes. We don't use energy for shit in this deck. So obviously we're playing energy blast cyclers. Also, the second skill, because we're playing so many grade 3s, we're playing 7 non-Vanguard grade 3s. Being able to pull them out of deck, especially with this guy, Finster, super good. We already talked about Nebula. This card's amazing. We're playing Elbert X Striker because it's an offensive card and it's a booster. The deck is lacking for boosters. Not really a lot of good generic grade 1s. As I said at the beginning of the video, Brandgate does not have a lot of good generic support that you can just play on anything. This one happens to be a decent card. If your opponent drive checks or damage check reveals a trigger, this thing gets 10,000 power or 10,000 shield. So if it's in your hand and your opponent hits a trigger, you can still guard with it. Act, Soul Blast 1, perform all the following. Until the end of the turn, this unit gets boost and 2,000 power. I actually forgot about the 2,000 power. And then you can remove an over trigger from your drop, and this unit gets your back row rearguard circle. All of your front row gets an additional 5k power. So if you happen to get your over trigger early, this allows you to still do something with it. Because we're playing so many grade 3 rear guards, same as before, that's why I'm playing Forbid Doll. Normally, you would search a total of 2 grade 3 or grade 4 cards. Grade 4s go to your hand, grade 3s get called. We just want to be able to call the grade 3s. Call out this guy for a boost or an attack. Call out this guy for the drive checks. Makes sense. And then we talked about this. This is the build I came up with. It's extremely offensive, a little lacking on the defense, but thankfully, our self-modification gauge does help with that. The only thing is, like I said, I don't know if I want to keep the draw triggers, if I want to switch to front triggers. I'll have to keep messing with that. But I've talked enough. I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Like and subscribe if you are and want to see more. But enough from me. Let's go jump into the game. All right, we found a game and it looks like we're going second. So this is actually a great hand for going second. I'm going to send back the draw trigger and the PG. Maybe draw some early game defense. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, let's see what we're up against. Lyrical. Is it Supremacy? Maybe not. I mean, just about every Lyrical deck can play whatever starter they want. It might be Supremacy. It is! It is Supremacy. No, wait, it's Chris Rain. Tiffin is Chris Rain, right? I think so. All right, we're gonna draw for turn. Oof, I kind of want to keep that. Oh wait, we got this. Haha. Discard, ride, get our energy crest. Go off this guy. Get our stuff. This guy comes to hand. Skill 1, 2, 3. Energy blast 3, and we draw an extra card. We're gonna go to main phase. We're gonna call Boba Mine, and we're gonna punch you in the throat. Punch. And punch. Ooh, we got 2 of our grade 3s. Imagine if you could use both of them and just get 4 drive checks. They would never let that happen, especially when the Divine Skill gives you 4 drive checks, but it would be funny. Yeah, we're definitely playing against Chris Rain. Chris Rain's ride line is not great. So they get to call the top card and call it. All right, that's fine. I assume they're gonna go Vanguard Rearguard, which is good for me because, oh, never mind, they're gonna rush. All right, that's fine. We'll take that damage, get a damage trigger, get that. We don't gain 5k because we get a damage trigger. We only get that after a certain amount. After once we get 4 or more, then we can get the 5k even if we get a damage trigger. I'm actually gonna take this because now that they killed our Bobomon, we get another one. That gives us an extra self-modification gauge, which is dope. Draw. We'll discard the grade 3. I just realized we have 2 Persona rides in hand. That's funny. Then we'll call. And you know what? We'll call this too. Swing. We'll swing at the grade 2. That's a really good grade 2 that we don't want them to have. Go ahead, drop a shield with your 5 cards in hand. Oh, no, you're gonna let it die. Oh my god. And then we're gonna use skill. Full blast 1, giving us another card in the drop for an extra 5k. PG! Say less. I am totally okay with that. Now we check top 5, grab a grade 2 or greater. We whiff! Unfortunate. I like never whiff on that skill. I think we are very far ahead right now. Though this crit from Chris Rain is gonna fucking suck. Unless they can't get 5 names. Which they can't because they have 1 counterblast. They would have to dump their entire hand. And they'd all have to be different. Never mind, they gotta discard for Rod. So Chris Rain's dead for this turn. They should not have perfect guarded the Vanguard. They should have took that damage. They have to call it. Pretty sure you have to call it. When this unit is rolled upon by grade 3, reveal the top card of your deck, call it to grade 3 or less normal unit. Oh, if it's a normal unit, if the trigger goes to hand. Okay. Chris Rain has no skill. That's funny. They can all they can do is do one of the skills. Oh, now they can do 2. I'm guessing they're gonna draw an energy charge and give 15k power. Yep. Oh no, they do have 5 names. Damn. Damn. That sucks. All right, let's see what they do here. Honestly, we might just eat the Chris Rain. And just see what happens with the 2 damage. I want to see what happens. No crit. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Get a self-mod gauge. How many do we have? We have 3 now. But we don't get the 5k power. And then we get another one, and we get to give ourselves 15. I'm sorry, 5. And now our defensive is live too. That's fine. You can kill him. And that is an easy guard. Nice. I think that went well. We have way too many grade 3s in hand. I'm gonna ditch. Oh, that's why. When I revealed it, I must have added it to hand. So that's why I was sitting on 2 of them. I was wondering where it came from. Grade 2 skill. We get the top card. He goes in. Do I leave it there though? All right, let me think. We have 1 damage. We can get, if we take 1 damage, that'll get us up to 6. Effect will get us 7. We'll get, if we leave it, we get 8 by next turn. But we gotta be very careful. Counterblast 1, we're gonna put 1 in. Check top 5. Call you. What do we want Bulba Mine? Actually, I think we want Bulba Mine because we're gonna counterblast 1. We're probably gonna counterblast 3 this turn. We definitely want Bulba Mine now I think about it. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shuffle. We're gonna call and call. Get a divine because we need the draws. Counterblast 1. Discard a copy. Great thing. Front row gains 15k. I have 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we have 6. All right, cool. So now we'll go to battle phase. Swing 4 drive. All right, first check. Oh wait, fuck. Oh wait, I did put the crit. Okay. 2, 3, 4. God, my drive checking is ass. Skill. And it gains 5k. Drive. I did put the crit. I for some reason thought I didn't add the crit. Bro, I checked 5 cards and got one trigger. Alright, skill. Full blast 1, 15k. But we're gonna take out this grade 2. The 15k is not gonna kill. We want to take out the grade 2. Alright, and then skill. Into the soul. Countercharge. Alright. And then next turn we have our grade 3 to be able to get 2 drive checks here, 2 drive checks on the rear. We've got an okay amount of defense. We have a PG. That was the big thing we wanted. Overdose to get 2 cards of different names, right? Okay. And we have a Persona ride, so I think we can take this on the next turn. I think. Being that this is a 3-attack deck, it does make it a little bit tougher, but we'll see what happens. Thank God I have a PG, because that would be annoying. Vanguard's going to gain 10k. Alright, they're going for Divine Skill 2. I forgot about the Divine Skill! Fuck! Oh, this is going to be rough. Chris Rain's Divine Skill is so fucking good. I swear people sleep on it. Alright, we're going to eat one of these rear guard attacks so we can get our self-modification gauge. Hopefully hit a trigger. Alright. She gains 10k, that's fine. Gonna eat this. Gonna get a self-mod gauge. Give ourselves 5k for the turn. $43. This can be 20k. That'll put us to 38. That'll put us to 43. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna intercept here. We'll gain 15. Then we'll guard with this, which gains 5k. We definitely have to PG the Vanguard. And now we gotta pray. Because depending on how this turn goes, we might be absolutely screwed. Okay, the drive checks weren't bad. Divine Skill. Bouncing everything back. They're probably gonna call Inez and then use Inez to call another card. It's really gonna come down to what the other card Inez calls is. Because Inez is gonna be 56. I just hope she calls something bunk. Because this will put us up to 38. Oof, good call. And she could bounce the card back to hand afterward. Alright, so this goes in. 15k shield. 3, 58. Skill. I'm like shaking right now because this is getting crazy. 58. I need another fucking 10k, which we just ripped into. But their hand is so massive. Alright. Now we gotta push. Draw. Persona ride. Main phase. Skill. Counterblasts. Card into the self-mod gauge. Deck top 5. Give me something good. I guess that's okay. Counterblast 1. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 3. You know what? Check this out. Skill. Energy Blast 3. Because we're going to thin out the deck a little bit more. Call. Shuffle. Skill. Soul Blast 1 gets 2k in boost. We're gonna call. And then how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Full. So that's plus 20k to the front row. Battle phase, swing. We got twin drive here, and then a 55k roll on the right. Perfect guard, twin drive, first check, second check, nothing. Skill, and 5k, two drive. Another perfect guard. I'm sad. First check, all effects. Second check. And then swing. 65 for 2. 1. 43. 48. I'm crossing my fingers, guys. Do we get this? Oh, that binds itself. 53. Still need 15k more. Come on, keep dropping them. 5k more. Damn, they had enough. Shit. Still 2 cards in hand. I might get lucky. I might. It really depends if they have enough to make an unestablished board. And they do. And Chris Rain gets her skills. Fuck. Don't sleep on Chris Rain. She's a good deck. And now they get to give 15 to Franchette, 10k back to the Vanguard. Vanguard gets a crit. I really tried to push, y'all. I really tried to push. But honestly, that divine skill turn really fucked me. Me getting no triggers and them pushing as hard as they did was tough. All right. 33 would be 2 to pass. All right, let me think. All right, so this is gonna get 10k, so that's 25. That's 33 right here. So this only jumps up to 33, so I need 33 and a 5. This is going to be 48. Sorry, 38. So I need 2 cards for that. So if they get 1 trigger, I can't guard anyway. So 1 to pass. Fuck. Oh well. Let me think. I just want to look again, see if I could have guarded. Because if I would have had to put that. That would have been 1 to pass. I would have had to put that plus another 10k. Or this and then 10k. So that would have been 2 to pass right there. Which would have left me with the trigger in hand. So let's say they gave the trigger over here. That would have been 33, 43, 53. I would have had to guard like this. That would have been 15, 30, that would have been 43. That would have been 58. Yeah, I couldn't guard it. Unfortunate. All right, guys, here's one more look at the deck. Sorry I couldn't clutch it up for you guys there. I got pretty unlucky, especially on my quad drive. It is what it is. It happens. But like I said, this deck is still a first draft. I'm still working on this. If they could get another way to get self-modification gauge besides taking damage, I feel like this deck would be a lot stronger because it actually kind of encourages you to not guard certain attacks once you have enough cards in your drop. And I don't know if that's the kind of style I would like. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what techs you guys are trying. Let me know what build you're trying. I might mess around with monsters again because I like being able to use the order to search top 5 for either Bobomine or a perfect guard, which also turns on the 5k power from Baldrade. Also, there's a grade 2 monster that when you play it, lets you draw a card and discard a card, which I think can help you fill up your drop early to get more self-modification gauges. But that is it for me, guys. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. If you guys want to see me play with these decks live, Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, either here on YouTube or over on twitch.tv/Zaffikel. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.